Ethiopia's agriculture is the backbone of the economy, employing more than 70% of the population. Yet, the sector remains highly dependent on rainfall, making farmers vulnerable to climate variability. Today, irrigation development is emerging as a key solution, boosting productivity, strengthening food security, and building climate resilience. In this program, we explore how irrigation is transforming Ethiopian agriculture, the opportunities it presents, and the challenges ahead. Ethiopia is endowed with abundant water resources, including major river basins and groundwater reservoirs. Despite this potential, only a small portion of the country's irrigable land has been developed. For decades, rain-fed agriculture has exposed farmers to drought, crop failure, and income instability. Irrigation changes this reality, allowing farmers to produce more than once a year, diversify crops, and improve livelihoods.
In my regard, I work in irrigation specifically, so I can tell that irrigation is expanding because the government is investing in irrigation. There are also development partners involving in that, and there are expanding given the potential. In fact, we have the potential of irrigation, so there is intensive involvement in irrigation.
Irrigation context in Ethiopia is underdeveloped. Still, it is not well developed because we have a huge potential in water and land resources. For example, in our strategy, we stated that over 11.1 million hectare irrigation potential can be developed. Of this, only 20 to 25% is under development. Having said this, that because this is due to the fragmented institutional arrangements, another one is the technological gap. Say, for example, the solar technology is currently breeding to Ethiopia. Mostly our farmers are using a pumped irrigation system. To use this pumped irrigation, there is a cost of fuel. We have no fuel resource, so just fuel is imported. Even technology is imported. This is a bigger challenge. Another one is skill, especially in using an integrated irrigation development ways. Say, for example, we are using only surface water irrigation mostly, but we have rainwater resources, and also we have a groundwater resources. To exploit these water resources, our skilled manpower, our technologies that we have at hand is very limited, so that due to this limitation, our resource is underdeveloped.
Oromia had, in terms of the land expansion, it had a significant share of the land, and more the irrigation investments are intensive in Oromia specifically. I can say, because I work in most of the time in Oromia, there are irrigation schemes developed, and the practice engagement. In fact, the produce, the crop that are produced by the irrigation are very close to the terminal market, which is Addis Ababa. So the engagement in irrigation infrastructure development, all these related issues are quite interesting in Oromia, I can say that.
The government of Ethiopia has identified irrigation as a priority under its agricultural transformation and climate resilient strategies. Large-scale irrigation schemes, smallholder irrigation projects, and modern technologies such as solar-powered pumps are expanding across regions.
The government tries to address strategically with different mechanisms. Say, for example, identifying with these strategic bottlenecks, the government try to just increase technologies, to bring a lot of technologies to improve the supply of the technologies. Tax exemption is the one we did one thing. Another one is a policy improvement. In previous policy, in agriculture development policy, the development focus on a rain-fed agriculture, but now That one is revised to just irrigated agriculture, to enhance irrigated agriculture. Another one is when it comes to just even the technology, now we have an ample solar resources. We focus also we try to establish a policy briefs, a policy advisory tools and models and even roadmaps just that enhance the irrigation technologies such as solar irrigation technology. The one GGI is try to work with us is also, which is very important, that enhance our irrigation development. So having said that, another thing that we did is currently in collaboration with Ministry of Water and Energy, we try to practice, pilot, and also just demonstrate the different irrigation technologies, such as like just agrivoltaic technology, which is very important, that can enhance our technology utilization.
You know, before 7 years, before some 10 years back, the development was very much limited. Now, as compared to the potential, even we are not yet in our potential. We can speak in numbers. For example, the potential of irrigation in Ethiopia is 7.5, 7.4 million hectares. Regarding the water potential, the land potential, but currently we are almost cultivating close to 2 million hectares. So you can see that. But back to 10 or 7 years back, it was less than 1 million hectare. So there is a significant increment or expansion in irrigation in numbers. Yeah.
Irrigation reduces dependence on rainfall, stabilizes food supply, and increases farmers' incomes. It is also essential for adapting to climate change, especially in drought-prone areas.
We work in irrigation research per se. We calculate the crop water requirements, the irrigation efficiency improvement. When we say about irrigation, we have to apply the amount of water that the crop exactly needs. You don't give it unaccess water to the plant. If you do so, then the access water will cause a problem. Salinity or water logging issues. So in research, we work. How much water a crop needs in its entire growth, and for the irrigation schemes, they need design standards. So in research, we developed such kind of parameters in research, and we give also advisory policies to the government on the irrigation development related in strategy preparation. In all this, we are engaging, with the Ministry of Agriculture and the Ministry of Water. Yeah.
Despite progress, challenges remain: limited financing, maintenance issues, water management gaps, and unequal access for smallholder farmers. Experts emphasize that success depends not only on infrastructure, but also on farmer training, water governance, and sustainable use of resources.
In the end of last year, with the Ethiopian calendar, it's just in Hamle or June, July. Yeah, June, July, we try to just establish one roadmap, which is very interesting. That roadmap is the National Irrigation Financing Implementation Roadmap. On this financing implementation roadmap, we stated directly that how the energy efficient technologies, just like solar technology, green energy, can be utilized for agriculture product use of energy that enhances agriculture productive energy. Say, for example, the basic thing in agriculture is the limitation of finance, beside to the human resource, beside the technology. So to increase the financing mechanisms in irrigated agriculture and in a green economy, just how private sectors can be directly engaged to to supply technologies and engage to the development of irrigation technologies. So with this, we aligned that NAFIR, that is a National Agricultural Financing Framework, can also just support how the microbanks, microfinancing institutions, national development banks has just given a loan and a subsidy ways. Even a de-risking mechanisms has been also established by the government to enhance the assembly, just not only just importing, rather just manufacturing and agro processing. So just on this way, there is an energy utilization. This energy can be used on a solar. So we did a green economy development by enhancing the financing mechanism.
Ethiopia's journey toward sustainable development is closely tied to climate action, green investment, and inclusive economic growth. One international partner playing a key role in this transition is the Global Green Growth Institute, commonly known as GGGI.
The GGI, they have introduced the agrovoltaics in this regard, the issue that we are currently involving. So I was participating in the policy advisory preparation. So the issue is a very critical and a very interesting aspect. You know, we have the potential of solar energy. We have also the potential of irrigation, and energy. Irrigation requires energy, and the solar will be, you know, the agrivoltaics will be a big solution. And the other issue is, for me, related to the agrivoltaics, you know, the land holding side of the farmers, especially of the smallholders, is very limited. And the approach the agrivoltaics brought to this challenge is critical and should be adopted. We are planning to conduct research to engage ourselves in such adoption technology, because under the solar panel space, the space under the solar panels was, you know, wasted before the engagement of this project. But now, from now on, we will try to, you know, test the technology to try to cultivate crops under the panels, and we will work on the specification and standards on and the selection of the crop types, what kind of crop types could be, you know, cultivated under the land, and their water requirements. All this will be conducted in research. Yeah.
The Global Green Growth Institute is an intergovernmental organization that supports developing countries in achieving economic growth while protecting the environment. Ethiopia has been a member of Global Green Growth Institute since 2012, aligning the partnership with the country's climate-resilient green economy strategy.
GGGI is an intergovernmental organization focused on supporting Ethiopia's climate resilience and green economy strategy. GGGI was actually foundational in terms of developing that strategy, and our work is really to support the government of Ethiopia to raise the investment necessary to implement that strategy and see it come to fruition.
Overall, we are aligning with the government strategy and the policy. We have implementing on the ground solar powered irrigation systems to increase climate agricultural production, specifically on climate smart agriculture, and we have piloted different solar powered irrigation systems at small scale, at farmers level, and at large scale, which will irrigate more than 80 to 100 hectares of land. So in addition to enhancing agricultural production, which supports the government strategy, we have also implemented solar electrification specifically for public institutions, schools, and healthy centers. In addition to that, focusing on climate smart agriculture, we are supporting, especially around Oromia, this Central Rift Valley area, in vermicompost production, supporting in seed farmers, and supporting in capacity building farmers, and in different energy sector, climate smart agriculture sector. We are supporting the farmers, piloting on the ground, as well as developing capacity buildings for the government expertise and local farmers, how to sustain what we have piloted on the ground.
Solar powered, so we've piloted solar powered irrigation in a number of areas in Central Rift Valley region, of Ethiopia in the southwest region as well. So solar powered irrigation, while the initial investment might be high, really the long term costs much cheaper for smallholder farmers, allowing them to access energy that would be much more expensive or maybe far away from the grid. But we know that Ethiopia faces a real challenge in terms of climate variability, and smallholder farmers are the most affected. And so solar powered irrigation allows the irrigation of vast hectares of land in a way that is cheaper and accessible for them, allowing them to grow food even when the rains might not be there. So I think that's a really important contribution. What we're discussing today is agrivoltaics, which is looking at solar powered irrigation systems that also allows crops to be planted under the solar panels. And if we're able to raise investments and pilot that technology and it works, it's a real contribution, to the production capacity of smallholder farmers in Ethiopia.
One of Global Green Growth Instituti's major contribution is policy and strategy development. In agriculture, Global Green Growth Institute supports initiatives that improve productivity while reducing climate risks.
So we've done a lot of work in terms of strengthening the institutional capacity of government, and that work includes embedding our key staff at the Ministry of Finance, at the Ministry of Planning and Development, supporting them to develop the relevant policies to implement the CRG strategy. We've supported government to raise investment from the Green Climate Fund, from the Adaptation Fund, and that investment is important in terms of translating actions at the national level into real projects that include restoration of degraded landscapes and supporting food security as well. But we also implement projects in the field, and so we've done our staff work alongside communities to implement projects that look at food security, that look at restoring degraded landscapes from Oromia, Sidama, all the way to the southwest region.
Within these 5 years specifically, we have piloted a solar power irrigation system specifically for smallholder farmers, not only in Oromia, in Somali, Amara, and the southern part. We have piloted at a small scale household level, and we use at a showcase and piloted and lessons learned to the Ministry of Agriculture. Then from that, now the government is implementing on the ground after we share the experience for the government, and now we have turned to the large scale, which the cooperatives do on it, especially around Jimma, Badele, and out Konta zone. We have piloted solar power irrigation system. One system can irrigate more than 80 hectares of land, and for the cooperatives, so they are now irrigating their land in a year 3 times. Previously, they are based on rainfall, which is affected by climate change. Now they are irrigating their land 3 times a year and increasing their production. So we piloted at a small scale, large scale, at different areas.
Through climate-smart irrigation, water-efficient technologies, and sustainable land management, smallholder farmers are better equipped with adapt to droughts and changing weather patterns.
We are now enhancing or increasing this what we have developed on agrovoltaics, which will increase the production of agricultural production, as well as on the same land we will generate electricity and use that land for agricultural production, crop production. So this agrovoltaics is an opportunity and a new technology for Ethiopia, specifically around this central Rift Valley area. There are a huge agricultural market demand. We have a climate resilient production. If we produce here, we can benefit the farmers and fulfill the government strategy, which government is doing on it. And in addition to this, we are developing some policy advisories how to enhance and support the government to scale up what we have piloted on the ground. So we are developing guidelines how to implement projects on the ground and how to procure and install some solar power irrigation system and solar electrification system, and develop policies how to put this work on the ground. This is what in general GGI is doing related to climate smart agriculture and energy. In addition to this, we are doing also on forest conservation, which is aligning with the government strategy, which is green legacy. So GGI in overall supporting the government and supporting the developing some policy and advisory policy and the guidelines, technical guidelines to support what the government puts on the ground. So we are developing policies supporting the government in piloting new technologies and put some guidelines, strategies, policies, how to scale up this project on the ground.
GGI provides technical support, so technical advisory support, which includes helping them develop the right policy, helping them develop feasibility studies, helping them raise investment, helping them pilot technologies that are appropriate. For example, today we are together with the Ministry of Agriculture and the Ministry of Energy today looking at a feasibility study on agrivoltaics in Ethiopia. And part of that work has also included getting Ethiopian government stakeholders, to visit Korea and see how this technology is implemented and see how that it would be relevant for the Ethiopian context. So our work is both advisory support. Our work includes supporting government to raise investment. Our work includes then helping them to implement those investments, but also the related policies for the existing strategies.
Global Green Growth Institute also plays an important role in advancing renewable energy development.
Now we are coming to link this nexus approach, energy, water and agriculture, on one which we are trying to develop investment document and the policy, advisory policies and assessment of market demand for agrovoltaics, which is very interesting because sometimes when we are installing our solar power irrigation system, the land underneath of solar PV will be idle previously. Now for agrovoltaics, we will use that land for agricultural crops that increase their production underneath of solar PV system, and we generate power either to inject to grid or to use for mini grid or to use for water supply, for irrigation purpose and for agro processing system. So it is a nexus and a multi usage of technology. So we have piloted on the ground at different level in different area in Ethiopia, including Somali, Oromia, Amara region. We have piloted and successfully implemented. It's working for more than 5 years now, what we have done on the ground.
A lot of our work aligns to the Green Legacy Initiative. We're very proud to say GGGI is one of the big contributors to the Green Legacy Initiative through our Sustainable Landscapes program, which is a big part of what we do in Ethiopia. So we support regeneration of degraded landscapes, we support communities, we support community-based organizations, as well we support the planting of trees, and we have done with the support of the Korean government in Oromia and Sidama. I've been part of tree planting as well in Oromia and Sidama to restore degraded landscapes. We are doing the same as well in the southwest region. So absolutely, we are very, very, very much a part of the Green Legacy Initiative and actively supporting its implementation.
The engagement should be integrated. The Green Legacy means planting trees, so to change the climate, and irrigation also another approach to the climate resilient approach, to mitigate the challenges associated with the climate change. So these two things can go in line, and also there is a water potential that could be used for irrigation, and for the green legacy development.
Specifically, this which we are doing now on workshop and presenting our final presentation on investment document, we are developing investment document which attract private sectors to implement, especially on energy and agricultural production. So we are developing policies supporting the government in collaboration with the Ministry of Agriculture and the Ministry of Water and Energy. We are developing policies, advisory policies on these agrovoltaics which link energy, agriculture, water nexus approach, which implicates this if we develop investment document and develop advisory policy and put briefly on the ground the market demand of this product of voltaics technology, this will attract and to private sectors to implement on this technology. So we are encouraging and developing what the private sectors requires and want to initiate them to implement this technology related to agriculture and the energy sector.
As Ethiopia's cities continue to grow, Global Green Growth Institute promotes green urban development from sustainable transport planning to energy efficient infrastructure.